all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering, and never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the four continents, the sun and the moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. Attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. To the Lamas who possess the three kayas, I offer the outer, inner, and secret offerings. With my body, wealth, and all that is visible, please grant me the supreme realization, enlightenment. Om Guru Devanda Kini Ratna Mandala Praditsa Soha. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Unequaled refuge, ornament of the world, your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor, Vajradhara, without a doubt. I bow at the feet of the Father, Jigten Sumgan. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I realize the unelaborated nature of mind. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma, of the two vehicles and the practices common to both, according to the dispositions and likewise the mental capacities of sentient beings.
Ninge Chimbo Zuli Nimbe Shing Zon Mona Chimbong Abjada Begradang Zindu Sermado Tumba Tuji Jina Gusanza Lono Majin Jan Soling the Sism de Mema Bemam Jong Sanja Kunjan Tadab Jidiba Son Trombe Margara Gusanza Yun Gulen Chama Boy Shidrim Merab Dumbar Jiktin Mom Sarvan Jambrayan La Gusanza Dorjan Chanjin Dervana Roda Marmagambo Badanji Lingo Gadism de Zavalamaja Sajula Mayada Juzona Sorvan de Zola Jusen Jolo Roman Jujen Japoran de Zonsanja Kunjang Honi Rasim Jukong Zondan Zeba Zavalama Yala Sorvan de Sisum Donga Jenda Chijen Chen Yarzome Bonchevra Julaso Semjin Tona Nyurda Danchena Damba Namjen and the Zarandozo. Depsatin Jamne Jabjin Garchen Buddhist Chodang Teni Chutokla Ne Yuk Kimpo Tinjin to Lama Nampatang Drana Yin Chutoka Wutri Hotela Roba Senkiri Tinteta Chapti to Sungyuri Teni Tereng the Mixar to Pepe Chudo Tamam Pache Sarba injury Nimbaka Yang Moshiri Yusigiri Tendu Tamala Ning Tapani Sapanang Shiatang Then it's time to get back to the lecture. Yes.
First of all, I'd like to greet everyone. I'm here. I'm so a principal in our source of refuge in this life and all future lives. His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche, and also the lamas who stay here at the center, Khenpo Tenzin, and the other lamas, and also the center director and all the staff and those who help the center, and then also all of your Dharma friends who came here today for the teachings. Now, some of you are newer disciples, and there also might be some Dharma friends that I know from before. And so first, to all of you, from the bottom of my heart, I extend my warmest greetings and Dashi Delek.
Tatendu terenga Rinpoche Sik Dinsa Chuchonder Yongate Tima Nipa Yings Tima Tambo Niton Juni Letana Yon Shinji Dupchinchik Tarimbochi Yampula Chinkorchik Tananzoniak Kawazambochi Sonsons Tatren Tima Nipa Andela Timber Madi Randik Tony Tatan Timber Payabo Chonson Kaisina Namini Basan Bapsoni Ma Basanan Mar Tuema Tato Rinpoche Tini Goi Zupotakita Der Tesotsan Tenitana Pep Tegaran in Jarka Huyata Nyampula Tenia Dinsandela Yunya Rason Then do take the zone Une Sosu Teapatan Tamsik Jurame Petamsiris and Pegawa Chimpo Jones.
And so now it is actually my second time visiting here Rinpoche's main seat in the Western world. First time when I came, that was in 2010 for the Yamantaka Drupchen. That time I also had the fortune to meet with Rinpoche in that special mandala of Yamantaka. And now is my second time here, and actually a lot of auspicious signs have actually, it is a very auspicious time, and a lot of auspicious signs have occurred already. Because when I just arrived, I came up on the shuttle bus, and when I just stepped out of the shuttle bus, Rinpoche was there already waiting, because he had seen a doctor on that day, and he just finished his doctor appointment when my bus arrived, so it was just a perfect time. So instantly upon arrival, I could already see Rinpoche, and then together with him I was able to come here to his main seat. And so I really feel, and I'm really very happy about that. And that is also because now devotion is pure and samaya is unchanging.
Tatgana yin chutoken zerem dela teni langthong gomchin tende zunzendo ten de bela ngarang mixa pe gaw chongs huma ngarang lo som nan sam de pe kapsa te so lamren ba yin de song tikse ta nyamni da us che yorite teni khatsang za lak pa nyimbo rembo chikun dune ta shine da lamthong sa ja chimbu kord Ngotutan Tsama tepe Gomtrinan Pe Masileke Shuyak Kawazambo Sonsons Tatarachi Tukin Zerem Tela Chin Telatin Hotena Pe Timrin Posonsoba Yampo Chonson Ten du Telangara Mixa Pegao Chons.
And so now in our program for the teachings, there are instructions, meditation instructions on shamata and vipashyana, and I'm especially happy about that. Now in the past, I have completed the traditional 3-year retreat and was able to go through all the stages of that practice, and was able to actually put that into practice. And also just the other day on Wednesday, actually because of this upcoming program now on meditation, I had the opportunity to receive some instructions from Rinpoche himself on shamata, vipashyana, and mahamudra. And so I found that I was really very fortunate. And so I really find that only perfect auspiciousness is coming together here. So I'm really very happy.
Tani Rinpoche kumdin to be Dhamma Samote, Drui Mayarwa. Tani Chirang Sohla, Buryak Kawazambo Son Son Ten Dungatsu Tsama, Sonam Chimburi, Tebe Tsame, Garchen Trojin to Tani, Terang the Ta Shineda, Lamton to go Rinpoche to Shia and the Simber Shows.
So now, today I have the opportunity to offer you at this very special place, Rinpoche's main seat here in the Western world. I'm able to offer you Rinpoche's instructions that are like fresh, so that the warmth of these instructions have not yet actually vanished, so they are still fresh. So I have the opportunity to offer them to you today, and I feel we all really have a lot of merit. And we all really can rejoice, be very happy about that. And so now we then will begin with the graduated instructions on shamata and vipashyana. So please listen well to these instructions. And then in addition, also the other day, I was also able to clear away some questions in my mind, some doubts I had in my mind by asking some questions to Khenpo Tenzin. And through his answers, these points became very clear. So also I'm very grateful, happy for that.
Tani saja chimbo ngadin kenang na saja chimbo ngadin la ta rimba nga yudu sancho semda yedam la tani lama kubje saja chimbo seneta zowon de deri ten du ta sakin ke ngubje senari o ngondo senari ta sheneta lamthong ni go zogori ten du de la parsin tonani na something the shirab namjuna ta sheneta lamthong laure dor chodi juna shirab servate pe masike shene lamthong senari shirab senari teso pe cha chimbores Rinpoche ke di jamro ke jabdon treya ke garden na tini sanje ji nimbo shirab la jabsun chiwo songdo ta shirab se yate ko sanje ke nimbo re so ta namju chi shirab shebe kapso sanje sori sina sanje se yate lunga yisum yongsu tabe shirab de sentende songdo ta di parotu simba drog nang la yang shirab mina paror simba nga de ke sanje kompon top top meres ten de mechi una zubo ke ina tsama yuna yang teni shirab te mina meg mi pana yire ten de shirab mina paror singa ye zobo sanje topar menebe tap dang din hin khorsom mo to pa shirab gomba jarse la ne so ne ta jarse la ni Rinpoche ke nyamni nari labza ne tsama de de china ba tsama gong jure o ten de tereng dana jerem de ta nga ta sa lobja mili chila pen jerem o tan de cha chim bo chu nang dos.
And so today we will talk about the one section from within the fivefold path of Mahamudra. And so there is 5 levels of that path. First there is bodhicitta, then the practice of the yidam, then the practice of the Guru's 4 kayas, and the 4th one is Mahamudra. So that is what we will deal with mainly today. And so the Mahamudra practice can said to be like the actual main practice, and as or we can also say as a preliminary, we start with the levels of shamata and vipashyana. And so then also shamata and vipashyana now, we speak about them in the context of the 6 paramitas. Then they are also referred to as meditation and wisdom. So that is what we call shamata and vipashyana, or is calm abiding and special insight. And so wisdom basically is vipashyana, or special insight, and that is a very precious state of mind. Rinpoche also explains that in his refuge card. In Rinpoche's refuge card, it says, I take refuge in transcendent awareness, or I take refuge in wisdom, which is the heart essence of the Buddha. So wisdom is the heart essence of the Buddha. Also in the teachings on wisdom, it is said that who actually is the Buddha. And it is said that it is, so this wisdom mind, that is the complete purity of body, speech, and mind. And so also it is said that then if, from within the 6 paramitas now, if you lack wisdom, even if you have the other 5 paramitas, you will not attain the state of complete enlightenment. For example, it is just like a person who has all their limbs complete, but if they lack wisdom, lacking wisdom is like that person being blind. And so in the 37 Bodhisattva practices, he says that if this verse from before, even if one possesses the 5 other paramitas, if one lacks wisdom, then the state of perfect enlightenment, complete enlightenment, cannot be attained. And therefore, it is the Bodhisattva's practice to practice wisdom that is combined with the method, which are the other paramitas. And so those 37 Bodhisattva practices, really, as you probably all know, is really the main practice of Rinpoche, and these are really his main instructions, his main teachings. And so therefore I really feel it is very precious to me that someone like myself, who doesn't have a lot of learning, am able to teach such a teaching today.
Lobjangda nyamni kangatoni na ngone nechik yabushi mes yina yang tatab yaga chila chon lo jie sansamni teni Rinpoche ta rewa chona tata parda chi Rinpoche nyampula ludan trama yindu chalong sonwa te ngarang pe karwa zangbo ta so de chimbo yins Tega matsele teni puni kempo mensa chipe lama tang kempo gemba tanda pe mambuchi sharinji song tu on tanda chong teni ngarang pula yope kapsa tiksa chik chula tonang da on chamnyam ni tanda ta tiksa sinyo yos te mato ngala lobjang ta nyamni tone ne chi mes teni nitong goni ta ngatara desa den Germany de yore tar Europe la lumba mambo da chuso mambo chi yuri te chama ta khong ta par phep to mendo namjun ta to sin ji go hondo churang ke ten jin chong si go le son ni tong go ni ten ka phap song ten ju ta ta par ta chi rang ke kar thup thup de ho ten de sin chuso to so ro pa si ya ta le ka si jin ba yins.
So by no means am I someone who has any great learning or practice, but now from a positive perspective now, when I was very young, at the age of 8 or so, I first encountered Rinpoche, and ever since, up until today, I followed Rinpoche, just like a shadow follows the body. And I really was able to, in a way, grow up with Rinpoche, and really consider myself as extremely fortunate for that. And also, when I was still in Tibet in the old days, I also was very fortunate to meet with a lot of great lamas, especially Khenpo Munsel Rinpoche, and many other elder great lamas that I've met there and received teachings from. And also at that time, I was really very interested in Dharma practice, and I did some retreat and practice. But aside from that, but I really do not have a lot of learning or like practical experience. And so just to introduce, so I'm coming mainly from Rinpoche Center in Germany, and so in 2009, then there's a lot of centers now that Rinpoche has in Europe, and now Rinpoche is not able to always visit all of these centers, and he needed someone to look after these centers. So he then gave me the responsibility to take care of all of his centers in Europe, and so that's what he entrusted to me in 2009, and ever since I've been really doing my best to help all those centers and to serve really to the best of my abilities.
Ari la yonyate, homa ngarana mixa ke chari mes, Canada Vancouver la ngoshi pa chiu, te so ke chik homa ni shows la delan do ya chik sede. Tani ngata Garchen Buddhist ke ta la mari kimbo re khona ba ke pe tha ni wo ya chucho chama la. Tani yong go re se ka phap song. Ta yina ya nga machung ji dila chawo ji yoro ti de sha ke ari ke sotala ta ren borin do nga ran ja ke tu ra ma so yina ya ta ten so ke tara sia tori Arizona Los Angeles de sola o tanda sen teni ja ya ra so te ga wo jones.
So actually, originally, I didn't really have a plan to visit America in the first place, but I have this friend in Vancouver in Canada who had already invited me some time ago, and so now I accepted that invitation, and then hearing that also Garchen Rinpoche and the Lamas and Khenpo and so on, then said that now at least you have to visit all of those centers that are close by. So it seems that like I'm like a small person, but still being a little bit busy, and so for this reason, it was not possible for me to visit the East Coast centers in America, but at least I was able to visit the West Coast centers, Seattle, Arizona, and Los Angeles, and I'm really very happy about that.
Chuchoku Kodrina yi, Naranga Kang, Tup the Show yi, Tayina yan, Kempo Tendin and a young do the chick, not Sayada Hiana, the things they want to home, those sites and child. Yena Dakarena, all the Kona Chuba got sort of three. The need Loma Chiran on the name back to the Karashi and showing.
So this is not the background of me coming here, and so now according to the program we shall start the teachings, the instructions that I will share with you to the best of my abilities, but then now we also have Khenpo Tenzin sitting here. That makes me feel a little bit nervous and also a little bit embarrassed to speak here in front of him. So now he's sitting here now like representing the Dharma practitioner, and now you are representing the listener of those teachings. Actually, I asked him, please don't come, but he insisted on coming.
Kajukan jormu jisom laure ning mangkena kunchin lonchin pake jora semchi ngubi mikbami jilangowa yongsu simbanam thalan dupe jibanam sundu ning mangkena tamba som laure tan dordena kajutan nimani meng thaderi mato tunchi pare tate de tamba som seate tene yuna chopa mina tap chopa tendri Te Garisina, Tambo Geva, Cheta Chungsum Garisina Yang, Gave Zabate, Tap Deva Chimbo, Ningi Simbar Sipatela, Jora Semji Tamba. Tendu Tela, Nato Terentana, Ta Shene Lanton, Senamado, something Shirab Senamado, the Yams Lember Capsule, Roa Majon and Contata Yambe Semjin Tamji, Marek Tumo Letorte, Teni Shirabtang, Yishikramso, Sanje to Compantobar Jazz. Teachita Nedanga Samote, Shone, Dunyams Lene, Teni Semji, Majon and Contata Yambe Semjin Tamji, Tinto Deva Sopo Sanje to Compana Kugayin, Samba Sanchun Cho the Semji Gores.
And so now, whatever practice we engage in, whether we do a retreat or we engage in personal practice, according to the Kagyu lineage, it is explained that we need to begin with the preparation of the motivation, the main part practice, and the conclusion. And in the Nyingma path of Longchenpa, it is said that you need to practice the three excellences, which is the excellent motivation, then the excellent main part practice that is free from any reference point, and then the excellent conclusion, which is dedication. And so actually they might use different terms, different words, but in their essential meaning they're really actually talking about the same thing. So we have those three excellences, and these three are indispensable. So they must be present, and one cannot do without them. And so that is because when we practice virtue, whether it is a greater average or a lesser virtue, whatever root of virtue you practice, in the beginning it must come from a motivation of skillful means, which is of great compassion, or the nature of great bliss, that is compassionate. So that is the excellent mind generation and motivation. So also that we need here today for the main part practice, which is, we call it shamata or vipashyana or meditation and wisdom. And so before we engage in this practice, we must have the motivation thinking that may all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, become liberated from ignorance, from delusion, and may they attain enlightenment in as an embodiment of wisdom, primordial wisdom. And for this sake, I am going to receive the profound instructions and then engage in the practice of the meaning explained. And then may all sentient beings, limitless as space, be established in the state of lasting happiness, the state of complete enlightenment. So in the beginning, we must give rise to such a motivation of bodhicitta.
Tatela chunyamni se bekapso menjogni klabzas mombadan jupas tendu mempe labzatela tsemi ba yes jamba tsemi ningi tsemi gawa tsemi tanyom tsemi tene katan rimboche kete sonso shine gomba kapso zochia khongna tin kimpo mense jini dangwa thopate tambo jamba yabo ji gongore semji tamji la chap jamba ji una te jamba de una tin shedang da chado tma men ro de tin ramjin ke sem shiwa la ne re sonso ten du men per labza tsemi ba yete pe ke chimborin dos jamba tsemi ningi tsemi gawa tsemi tanyom tsemi te men per labza tan yobol labza tela parot simba drop ju lam ka kapso jimba tong chutum song zupa kom chun du cham tani samti na nyam par ya tani shirap nyam sele ya ten du jupa tela parot simba dro la ore.
And so now for our practice here, in the beginning, we develop an aspiration, an aspirational bodhicitta, and then engaging bodhicitta. And so for the aspiration, the training in the aspiration bodhicitta, that consists in cultivating the four immeasurables: immeasurable love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Also yesterday, Rinpoche had said that when you practice shamata, calm abiding, in that context, Khenpo Münze Rinpoche gave him a very special instruction. And he said that in the beginning, first, you need to cultivate this immeasurable love really well. And immeasurable love is that love that pervades all sentient beings. And when your love pervades all sentient beings, then naturally those emotions of anger and jealousy will not arise. And the mind will be able to abide calmly, very naturally. And so first, the training in those four immeasurables is very important. And that is what we call the aspirational bodhicitta. And then second is the engaging or activity bodhicitta, and that refers to the actions, the conduct of the 6 paramitas. So it is to practice generosity, and to practice ethical discipline and patience, and to be diligent in those practices, and to settle the mind in a state of meditation, and to cultivate wisdom. So the cultivation, the practice of the 6 paramitas is the engaging or activity bodhicitta.
Tani badela geza jinji jin nyumung ben nam to ke mishik pasi badela nu yiming mi tamba la re tara de chuni be kapsa nu ji jun som zema zhok menjin bang a se ya ji mangbo yo re ndor de na thusam gom som kare se na ya te ga rang thola lunga yi som chik de ya de la geza jinji mishik pas Tani sumpa tala ta give tsawa kare sena yang cheta chungsum. Te semjin tamti tenda deva sanje je gombang topa chido ngoga yin samnike ngowa siya. Ngo te tati sumta tamba sum senari, yonga ju sum senari, mitam rongwa hiresi.
So then now after that, in order now that the roots of virtue of this intention is not destroyed by a condition like the arising of a negative emotion or a discursive mind, we practice the main part without reference point, that is without any thoughts in the mind, fully focused on the subject. So now when we are listening to the Dharma, we fully listen to the Dharma. And there's many explanations on how to do that. For example, it is explained that there are extreme falls of a pot, or there are 6 stains, or 5 ways that one should not, 5 things one should not grasp at, and so on. But in brief, to summarize all of that, whatever you do, whether you are listening to the teachings or you're contemplating or you're meditating, you must combine or bring together your body, speech, and mind, fully focused on what you're doing in that moment. And that is the way for that root of virtue that you're accumulating here not to become destroyed by a condition. And then, so that's the second point. And then the third point is that whatever virtue you practice, larger, average, or smaller, in the end, you should dedicate it, thinking that I am dedicating those roots of virtue so that all sentient beings will achieve the state of lasting happiness, the state of complete enlightenment. So we may call it the 3 excellences, or the preparation, main part, and conclusion. Whatever we want to call it, those 3 parts really are indispensable for the practice.
Nyamni ke mangi the karasi gorsina, Hova the Dunga Yimba, Tela, Tini Nimjong Chin, Tini Tariak and Dupelo to go, yes, the mangi. Tatini Tarta Vigila, Kandus in Yangin and Depa, Tobiatella, Kandus in Yogorisina, the Eba number some to go, Tini Conchoson, Japson Run. Tini tende deva se Sanji Kumpa, or Tobiak, Depak, young till a lot of gures. Tini Yamnik, that lambs in a meadow, young the Karisina, Jambada, Ningira, Gatoni, Yamsuli Yata. Tini Yamnin Teta Lucemin, Jarmadoya Kachito, Jambata, Shi Ink, or Dapoya Pojaya. Among the way. Tachiran Kejo Yapoyunta, you get my lord.
And so then the foundation of the practice is, first of all, to seeing the suffering of samsara. You develop a wish to become free from samsara. That is called renunciation. So that wish to become free is the foundation of practice. And then after that, then in order to actually attain that state of nirvana, we must first take refuge in the three jewels through the three kinds of faith. And so then we train on the path to attain that state of enlightenment, which is a state of lasting happiness. And so for that sake, then we engage in practice and training of the path. And what we are really actually training in is, or developing, is love and compassion. And so then, in order for our body and mind not to slip, not to separate from the practice, it is necessary also to always sustain a state of mindfulness, of mental alertness.
Ta nyamni chura me ba te karisina ta lama tamba dangwa te rang sina te nyamni de chura yo mares ta te du chu tu sam gom som ko kapso tu pa ke shirap te ke sipang kham song khorwa ta shiwa nyangin de ba ni ji ti ke chu kan chini de rob chang chik so so ha ko te to to ba ta nipa samba te ke tiksa ha ko ya te ta chama ha ko se ya te le lao yo mar te ina so chang ha ko si nipa te le samba te ke tini chon nang den ban jin do ya ke din jin ke ra pa te ma xian tini te to pa ta nam do dom do je go res ta samba te le te chama din jin te ra pa te pa xie to pa ta te chum sar sar ji le ta sa ya ya ping ma re tini so su nyam se le ne ti nyam ni ke tini so su chor wa ta nyam nyong ro wa te ke tini sem ke tho ne ko pa chu ba ji o se na te la ni pa ta tini chor wa le tu ge res.
And so then, in order for one's practice to remain free of confusion, it is also necessary to receive the instructions of the authentic guru. And receiving these instructions, the practice will be free of confusion. And then we engage in the practice of listening, of reflecting, contemplating, and meditating. So first, we develop the wisdom of listening or hearing. And so here, through hearing, we first begin to understand the nature of this wheel of cyclic existence, the three worlds of samsara, and also the peaceful state of nirvana. So we begin to understand what that actually is, its characteristics. And so there is much to learning the Dharma, and it's not easy to know everything, but it is necessary in the beginning to have like a good understanding, a basic understanding of all of that. And then secondly, we develop the wisdom of contemplation. And so through contemplating, then we are pacifying the coarse fixations that holds those appearances, confused appearances, our perceptions to be truly existing. So these fixations are being pacified. And so here we need to let go, rid the mind of its discursiveness of thinking. And then in the third part, the wisdom of meditation. So here we have already pacified the coarse fixations to a concrete reality. And then also we have cleared away the more coarse doubts and thoughts in the mind. But then once we have done that, we cannot just leave it at that. We also then need to engage in deeper practice. And that means that we need to practice to a point where we gain an actual direct experience. And that experience then leads to a real feeling. We are really actually gaining a direct experience of like tasting the flavor of what we are reflecting upon. And so that means that ultimately we need to resolve, decide upon its nature and the truth within our mind. So these are the various levels of practice that we go through.
Tatarang tik ngondo kerba chusu shue. Te shogoya jumsin de kararesina. Jiktin sungung ke chu ngobye beja ngondo sabs. Kaju lama yinda ke chu drupa lejan drupsur zos. Ta ngubye te ke chimborite ngubye te yapo yonyala ta ngondo te yapo gorite ta tingsang zambalan ke zuktrun te so chama tandarwa. Te ndu mangye te yapo mena tini yinda te yapo chato ma te ndu ngubye te sabo te tele sabate ngondo re sonji tin sungu. Kaisena ngondo te yapo chachana ngubye te tini ko takdan ro thugo ra. Tini chu drubya te ke chimborite te kando sine nyamse lene drubya lat kando go te machina yang chu drupa chamje te so so la nupa tang chorwa sarpo chato mari te drupa leja drupa chor cho sondu te la tine nge tina bara tiksa ta ngondo kuramba te shue maza ta sarpa tere mambo yore laundo teri mato nyingba tamje ta rambo chindeni dangwa chama top chayore te ndu te la miksa chi shogoya yo mari te yina yang ta te la ya sarpo chaya chi to honde yins.
So the reason why it is necessary to also go through the stages of the preliminaries, actually Lord Chikden Sumgyen has said that to me the preliminaries, now to others the main part of practice is profound, but to me the preliminaries are more profound. And then also elsewhere in the Kagyu, Lamas have said that it is what's more important than the practice is the way in which we engage in practice, how we engage in practice. So, in other words, in order for the main part or the actual practice to really develop well, it is necessary to have a solid foundation of the preliminaries. So nowadays, a lot of these like foundational structures, we can find them everywhere in the world. And for anything to be built with stability or rise with stability, there needs to be a firm foundation. And so that is why Chikden Sumgyen has said that the preliminaries are really most profound, because only when the preliminaries are really stable, then you can really progress in a very stable manner. And then practice is important, but what's even more important is the way or how we engage in practice. Because if we don't know that, if we just practice without really actually doing it correctly, then the actual power of the practice, a real experience, a feeling, cannot really arise on a deep level. So more than the practice, the way in which we practice, that is most important. And so that is why I also needed to really explain a little bit about the stages of the preliminaries. and also mainly also because I was told that some of you are newer students. Of course, the senior students have received all of these instructions from Rinpoche before. There's actually no need to mention it again, but just to clarify that for everyone, I thought of mentioning it again.
Tatering Chineta Lamtong Des Zo Ta Pecha Zo Yonte Jiki Sungunga Saja Chimbo Ngadinang Teni Saja Chimbo Kor Oti Zo Tele Yane Teni Rinpoche Deni Dangwa Tobyadang Sosu Tiksa Ha Karekwati Nyamnyongo Toni Ma Ndrishi Shuyai Teni Tela Tabyaga Chila Teni Hama Orina Teni Kimbola Kandishu Teni Laparta Teni Karisina Tang Pecha de Malo Yana Natsu Loza Van the Rinpoche Lutan Drema in the Loma Boja to the Tama Hako Teni Teni Apek Take Jibondos Let Laundo Tenda Cinema and
And so today we now speak about shamata and vipashyana, and the main scripture, the text that we will base these teachings on, is from the songs by Jigten Sumgyön on the fivefold path of Mahamudra. And here the song on Mahamudra, the root verses on Mahamudra. So the teachings are based on that root verse. And so I will explain those teachings based on the instructions that I myself have received from Rinpoche, and then subsequently the understanding and experience in practice that I have done that arose based on these instructions. And then there are, of course, things that I might not know, and then we can also consult with Khenpo Tenzin regarding these questions. Now we will follow these verses, and also I'm happy about the Rinpoche's translator translating for me today, because she has followed Rinpoche like a shadow for many years and is now familiar with all of Rinpoche's teachings, and so therefore it's very easy for me to give those teachings today, so I'm very happy about that.
Hala so ta tambo sakchi ngadina ne jitin sungung tene yepatela semni je nam kha yang ba la se nam to ke tin so ma dai na chin ni je zakar ma ta be sem ma ton de la ne tin zo sin tene sholo ka chi song yure se.
And so now from the root verses here, the songs on the fivefold path of Mahamudra by Lord Jigten Sumgyön, we go to the fourth one on Mahamudra. And so here Jigten Sumgyön says that unless the massing clouds of discursive thoughts do not vanish in the open sky of the mind itself, the brilliance, the two wisdoms of the planets and the stars will not shine. So that the two wisdoms of the planets and stars will not shine. Therefore, you should apply yourself earnestly in non-conceptuality.
Tisma Sartishuna, Semni Sosuranga Yupe Semni Des, Chutico, Tenipen, Namkaka Schools, Lower Teni Semna, Linjikatrema, Nambo, the Zona, Dreambaka Schools. That end you Semji Ramshi, yet Deman in the Sosola, Machipa, number Matopa Yupa Teni. Ta yingwa me patang zimba yiming and zimi chong sinatara jitin sungung kongorji nanare chong wala tene nindin de senas nampara topate ngo shishing sem ranhi kengang de ta des penan chimpa ni chatawan chimpa ta jini zipa teni yundin de yene ranche su yupanam ngon de sipa pana timba the pa me sona teng sona zadang karmate ramji ke pe sarputawatan sharan de tikizosku yures.
So Then to explain that verse, so it says this open sky of the mind itself, and that is the sky, the expanse of the Dharmakaya, the pervasive Dharmakaya. And then within that sky arise the clouds, the masses of clouds, which are the thoughts. So these momentarily obscure this open sky of the mind itself. So the thoughts, this discursiveness in the mind, the discursive thoughts are like the clouds massing in the sky. And the mind itself is primordially in its primordial state, in its primordial state, a state of non-conceptuality that possesses the quality of those two wisdoms. And Jigten Sumgön had said in another song that, in one of the songs, that sustain, therefore to see that, sustain a state of non-grasping, free from any distraction. And if you apply yourself earnestly in that, then you recognize the nature of those arising thoughts. And by recognizing what they really are, they vanish naturally on their own into the sky of the mind itself. And then when that happens, it is like the clouds vanishing into the sky. And when the clouds have vanished, then the brilliance of the planets and stars will become revealed. And so that brilliance of those planets and stars refers to the twofold wisdom or knowledge. And that is the wisdom that knows things as they are, and the wisdom that knows the extent of all the things there are. And so these qualities of this twofold wisdom actually are primordially already inherent to the mind itself. They have always been there, but by clearing away those clouds of discursive thoughts, they are actualized, which means they naturally become revealed. So the brilliance that has already been there becomes revealed when there's no more clouds. So then just naturally, the brilliance of those two wisdoms arises, or finally arises within the mind.
Marimba into Tria de la Tinity Rimba Ninos, Chi Rimba de Tang, Tinimotuya Sintirambani. Tati Rimbani de la Tambo Ta something that Shirap se Parut Simba Token Nani, Tinit. Tatela Sheneta Lantons Dordina, Take Tadirimato Tunji Parindua, Hot in the Nit. Ma chi shiatela yangel de nit ma chiatela de tambotela sem namdo ke trube ma le par shiwar ne betuna shine shi sa ta tien de tambon de ke tong da yong go yor ti ji la tini kale ho te ri nga so ti movie da tong de tambo ti ku na na kare wona chuk sting de he jang ta hin do wa ti ji la tini kale ram ba yin de ti ho ti na yin do ta shine da lam tong de tambo sem shiwar ne ya katang tani sem shiwa tang de ne ya de ta de ne ya de la de drupala tani sima tang ji ba sin ji da tani sima me ba ni tan sin ji de la yang tin la tin tin ji tang tin mi ni se ta de so ta ma ji la yong go ho de ni yo re.
And so these instructions are divided into two sections in the text here. And so that is there's first the stages of instruction, and then second the introduction. And so for that first, the stages of instructions, here we are dealing mainly with amongst the 6 paramitas, the last 2 of meditation and wisdom, or we can also call it, now here it's called shamata and vipashyana. So here it is given a different name, but really we are speaking about the same meaning. And so, and then there is the introduction. And so first, for those levels of instruction, first there are the instructions on shamata, calm abiding. And the essence of that is that shamata is that state where the mind is without any thinking, any conceptual elaboration. The mind abides in a tranquil, calm state. And so then more about that later. So this is just a brief introduction to that. It is just like, when before you're watching a movie, you might see a trailer. So the trailer introduces you to what will happen in the movie. So just like that, that's the trailer. And so later comes the movie. And so first, the trailer to shamata or calm abiding is first that we develop. Calm abiding in brief means that the mind has an ability to abide in a tranquil, calm state. And then to accomplish that, to practice that, there's different levels here. There is the shamata with characteristics and without characteristics. And then within the first one, the shamata with characteristics, there are also 2 kinds, shamata with support and without support. So more on that later.
Tatendu lamtong gomya la tambo shine de gores per na jarse la lina shine rapt dem be lamtong ki nimong number njomba shisen se yorwa tendu tambo hono nga so shine de ma ndreche jaya ta shine de rempa mambo yore pache tu chu kan dangsari tendu tex ma she ya tang teni so la te gomya samno toya tando sike ma ndona tex pintoli
And so then in order to really practice vipashyana or special insight, we first must cultivate shamata. So it's like a prerequisite for vipassana. And so also in the 37 bodhisattva practices, regarding the shamata practices, it says that first we need to develop a state of calm abiding that first suppresses all of the arising afflictive emotions. So first, there are many, we talk about the various levels of shamata practice. And so since we have enough time, I thought it would be a good idea if we mix these instructions also with some practice. So let's do some instructions, and then always in between, let's do some meditation on what we just discussed. And I feel that would be of the greatest benefit.
Shine gomya tela tambo ke tsinje tela teni tinjin kthoni gomya deri tendi tsinje na tinjin de tela tambo dende tinjin de lan dende miktin khado karwotan serwotan da mayin ba tela jun potena ya meglatix ne ba yongores teni an sem choya tan goya ka jun jurgores tendi te sachikma Atenda sarbotan karbo mayimba ma bronda oda yimajik numbo da chigum tela lak ke ko yana ndori ta don tanda da jala kare yana ngupo chunchunji otena yo hajan karbo mayimba la sem hare desi otenda chingdona yo tani luta kadu na number namdik chuden atambo tosin diksamari gonda tambo sosu shine gomba kaps lut number namje ke chudun ke thola tani desala lupo de number namje chudun tanti number namje chudun ke lupo de nalo tana sem tani sem de la ramji ke lu ta ti gangni tarate laura choma no na tang sem mapju na des teni dike thoni ta shine tinjin gomde Dun Jala thing about the ya, that the garang yi mikpa long sum, nejik, the garang thinum. Tani Lucim Magon Sim, Telane Tomna, Ta Stationek Tapiri, Sim Shivalane to yours.
So then we begin with the shamata with characteristics and with support. And so for that, you are placing an object, a focal object in front of you. And that object should not be too white in color. It should not be too bright either. Because if you would gaze at a very bright or white object for a long time, it's also not good for your eyes, and also it can really agitate the mind. So the mind becomes more restless in that way. So the object should not be too white and bright. It can be something more of a dimmer color, like brown color and so on. And it can be any object. It can be an image of a deity, or it can be a rock or any other object. It should be rather small and not too bright. And then you look at that object with focus and also in a relaxed way. And so for the physical posture, you are assuming the 7-point posture of Vipashyana. And then having assumed this posture, then the mind within abides in natural relaxed state. So you remain completely straight. Your physical posture is completely straight without any crookedness. And the mind abides in an uncontrived state, an unaltered natural state. And so here, now for the, again, shamata with characteristics, with support, you're placing an object in front of you, and you're focusing your body and your mind, your eye gaze fully on that object, single-pointedly, without any physical or mental fluctuation or movement at all. And if you're able to abide without any movements in a still way, then you will accomplish that stage of shamata.
Tatela, that's all. Little number of children to Garchen Buddhist, Lutan Tsartangs, Tsartang long the Tamundo. Long the time was on the Simba Sabu, Chahores. Tangato Tama Rimbochi Loma Yenza, Rimbochi Kaduna, the country of Pujundo. Pepe Pentota, Dreva Jimsi, Guba Jimsi Mamboa. You don't you do Rimbochi as Inchi Lombando, Teni Zatan, Satan, Rubatiso, Empty Mixatindo, Otanatin, Teni Consulte Lord Yab Tatati. Be Hansans Gapo Lord Yachin, that and Satan, Rubatan, the Sozat, Tambleton, Posala dinner, Galacabores, Conso Hansando. Did you Nata so loves Posari Madolas? The Nitan, the Tangaton, I'm just go there, take it in, so go down there and watch it up, they don't take it. Mato pe masili ke pendo chimbondo ngaso tijinjo inza o ti konke jisunana so su ta nyamni senari namjyo ku zupun chuti nasa te so pe pendo chimbo sares nasa chunga te so chi zupo za dang za ku kyo ri ne tin long de ta le mondo long de ta mondo tin sem jo wa ta dong ha ta mambo yong sari tin namjyo yupo ka se pe Or Dambo Yoga at the Pekachimbo, Rimbochi, Jason Yoga at the Peki.